Jumpin' Jim Brunzell, former AWA Tag Team Champion, very famous in the World Wrestling Federation as a member of the Killer Bees with B. Brian Blair. Also wrestled in the NWA as well as WCW Slamboree. This man's been in Japan, all over the world, in Singapore, and he's here now in the WFWA with a title match against the Natural, who has won the title on 2 different occasions.
Gentlemen, I'd like to say hello to all the good fans across the country. But let me tell you something, gentlemen. Before I talk to Jim Brunzell, at least for 2-3 months, he's the gentleman that told me, says, Mr. Condello, I want to come down to Winnipeg because I want to shout at that title of the Natural hold. I said, Mr. Brunzell, it will be more than my pleasure to come to Winnipeg right here. And of course, I said to him, your opponent will be the Natural. It's no use me telling you about Mr. Jim Brunzell. He's been all over the world. And the only thing I can say, here is the match. And Mr. Brunzell, all the best of luck, because you are facing the champion. And I'm pretty sure with Mr. Brunzell's technique in professional wrestling, I'm going to say one thing. I would choose him to be the winner of this match.
Well, you know, a lot of the fans around the country would love to see a man like Jumpin' Jimmy Brunzell as the WFWA title holder. Tony, I heard a rumbling the other day around the offices of the WFWA, and I don't know if you can confirm this, but there is a good chance that Jumpin' Jimmy Brunzell, if he does win the title here today, could be making a lot of appearances throughout Canada and in parts of the United States with the WFWA.
My understanding is if Mr. Jim Brunzell wins this match, it'll be more than his pleasure to travel with the Canadian heavyweight belt all across Canada and the United States of America.
And at that time, Jimmy Mack, we'd like to say hello to all the great viewers on the WFWA Wrestling Network from Newfoundland to British Columbia, all the way down south into the North Dakota, South Dakota area. We have to say a big hello to all the great wrestling fans. Some top-notch wrestling action here. The WFWA title on the line, and Jumpin' Jimmy Brunzell right now has the best of your man, the Natural.
Well, I gotta go back for a second to where Tony was speaking here. I can't believe he's picking the old man to win this match.
Well, he's not that old and probably in the best shape of his life. Jumpin' Jimmy Brunzell, very youthful still in his ring appearance. And Tony, I'll tell you what, you know what comes with age? A lot of experience.
Mr. Brunzell, he comes from the old school. I remember those days, the AWA, and wherever he was, I remember him as a kid. And believe me, that's when you started this game, when you were a teenager. And he's got a lot of bouts behind his belt, a lot of notches, too, of winnings. And I think this has happened to be one of them.
Well, I'll tell you what, he doesn't look that old in there right now. Jimmy Mack, he is going to work on the WFWA heavyweight champion, the Natural.
Well, I think in a match like this, the Natural's got to take his time. With the experience he's facing, you got to be careful. As you saw, the Natural just went right at him, and Brunzell, all he did was take his time and take the Natural down. The Natural's got to calm down and get his head in the match.
If you're just joining us, folks, this one is for the WFWA heavyweight title. Yep, rub your ears and believe it. A title match on television this week. Jumpin' Jimmy Brunzell, around 240 pounds, from White Bear Lake, Minnesota, taking on the Natural, the WFWA heavyweight champion. And referee Joe Fiorino is right on top of all the action, and he sized it up. The opponent right now, Jumpin' Jimmy Brunzell, is with that good-looking armbar. He's been working the arm since the beginning of this match.
Well, I tell you, that only leaves one arm left for the Natural to take hold. And he's trying his best. Let's look at the ref. Why is he tapping the Natural? The Natural hasn't done a thing yet.
It sounds like you're tapping. Tap dancing, that is, for your man. You are the trend section. This one there, Brunzell and the referee right in the middle. Oh, and he got suckered there. And the Natural showing how foxy he can be in the ring there, how much of a hound. Tony, you have even stepped foot in the ring with the with the champion, the Natural on a couple of occasions. Not too well liked in your books.
Well, the Natural, I'm not going to put him down because he's one of the greatest athletes that I ever seen and fought with. But you know, at this time and point, he's facing Jim Brunzell, and he looks like right at this point in time he's having the best of Mr. Brunzell. But I do believe Mr. Brunzell is just taking a breather. Just watch him make the big comeback.
Well, I had a chance to talk to the Natural about a week ago, and he says, you know, Joe, I don't even know why I'm telling you this. Not that I get along with the gentleman, but nonetheless, he says he's got a big surprise in store for Jumpin' Jimmy Brunzell, or any opponent for that matter that gets in his way. He says that he has mastered the figure 4 leg lock one of the most devastating finishing maneuvers in professional wrestling,
I
Jimmy.
tell you, if he puts it on Brunzell, it's all over.
And of course, you know, as Jumpin' Jimmy Brunzell fans would, you got to be careful of that sleeper and that devastating drop kick that has ended the careers of many wrestlers. It could happen today to the Natural, and we could have a new WFWA heavyweight champion. Irish whip off the ropes to get out of that headlock. The brakes on, and a short clothesline there from the Natural, which surprised the veteran Brunzell, and only a 2 count there. And he goes to work on a good-looking, sizing him up there, Tony, with a chin lock.
You know, the big bang that Mr. Brunzell got from the Natural's got to give him more than that, because he's facing a very tough opponent. And believe me, gentlemen, Mr. Brunzell, he came to Winnipeg for only one reason, and one reason only, to win the big gold around his waist.
Well, I think he's going to be disappointed by the end of this match.
Well, that could be true, according to Jimmy Mack. But, Tony, since we're on the topic of the coveted gold, you have to bring up names like Chi-Chi Cruz, a former champion. You know, he'd like to get a shot in the near future at either one of the champions. It would be a great match between him and Brunzell. Scientific, I am sure. And, you know, there is no doubt about the feud going on between the Natural, Chi-Chi Cruz. You mentioned the name Kerry Pitbull Brown. There's a lot of top contenders in the area.
We have a lot of top contenders in WFWA, and is one of them, as we know, is Chi-Chi Cruz. And of course, Chi-Chi Cruz is just waiting and sitting and studying these 2 gentlemen, because he's next on the line for the big gold.
Did you see that left hand just landed in the big, powerful elbow in the Natural? It might have Brunzell here. Vertical press, 2 count, and a kick out by Brunzell.
You see, this is where the Natural's inexperience might kick in against a guy with the experience like Brunzell. He should have hooked the leg on that pin.
Folks, I don't really have to say it. Oh, devastating knee drop there. And the Natural is saying, Brunzell, it's all over for him. 1, a 2 count by referee Fiorino, and another 2 count. There's been quite a few of them so far in this match. Very close encounter. But, folks, I don't have to be telling you this. You definitely want to get your tickets early when you get a chance to see names like the Natural and Brunzell on the marquee. When it says wrestling, you know it's going to say WFWA. And did you see the slingshot move there from the Natural as Brunzell is grabbing his throat inside the ring? He just said he was the Natural and the Canadian champion. You can't argue with that, Jimmy.
I'm not arguing at all. I knew that right from the beginning. And at the end of the match, he's still going to be the Canadian champ.
Brunzell losing a little bit of steam now, and right back to work, the Natural. Tony, a young man like the Natural, I guess, not only defending his title here, but you can learn a lot in a match like that, or like this, against a guy like Jumpin' Jimmy Brunzell.
Well, you know he's going to learn, because the Natural is up there already. As we know, he is the champion. But the only thing I'm going to say that Mr. Natural, what he's going to learn, is going to take the 3 count. That right now, after this match, from Mr. Jim Brunzell.
I have never seen a crowd react like they did when Jumpin' Jimmy Brunzell made his way to the ring area. Fans supporting him, saying, take the championship belt. Good luck, Jimmy. Good luck, Jimmy. As Jimmy must have spent about an hour before the match even to sign autographs, before he took a half hour to just focus on today's encounter against the Natural.
That could have been his big mistake. Keep your head in the match. Why are you signing autographs before?
There's probably one thing that means more to Jimmy Brunzell than wearing that title around his waist, and that is the support of the people across Canada and the United States. That's probably why he's been such a popular performer wherever he's been. Atomic drop there, but the Natural maintaining his composure and holding on to that side headlock, and it wouldn't surprise me one bit if there was a chokehold taking place right now.
I wouldn't believe that.
They're taking a look at all this great WFWA wrestling action. Tony, this match has gone around at least the 10-minute mark. TV time limiter, 1 fall. And hopefully this one will come to a close before this show wraps it up. Brunzell getting to his feet there. Shoulder block, takedown now. The Natural jumping over Brunzell. Duck under by the Natural. Oh, savant kick to the sternum. And that one took the breath out of Jimmy Brunzell. 2 count, and Brunzell kicks out. It's going to take a little bit more than that.
It sure is. It's going to take more than that, because the championship bout, you're going to take to only 1 kick to be your opponent. You got to go for the pin. The whole deal is the 1, 2, 3 count. That's all it takes.
I got to interrupt you here. Speaking of the 1, 2, 3 count, why is the ref counting so slow for the Natural?
Well, the referee is doing his job, I do believe. That's your opinion, but it's very hard to be a referee in any match, because it actually is very, very hard to be a referee. So you got to respect that. At this point in time, the natural is taking a cheap shot to Jim Brunzell, but I do believe Jim Brunzell is just taking a little breather.
Well, I'll tell you what, I can't call it a breather, Tony, but I'll tell you one thing. He's going to have to fight his way back and get that adrenaline pumping as he's trying right now to make his way to the coveted gold, the WFWA heavyweight title. And the natural very tenacious in this match, using the elbows and the boot there. As you can see, he's going outside the ring now. And what's he got planned for Jumpin' Jimmy Brunzell here? Oh, a face full of the mat for Jumpin' Jimmy Brunzell, and there is the physique of the natural, weighing in at about 227 pounds. And Jumpin' Jimmy Brunzell looking the worse for wear right now, folks, but this is giving him a chance to catch his breath. And look at this, Tony, he's in a bit of a daze. It looks like he's been knocked out.
Maybe he's a little bit in a daze, but I do believe he's taking a big breath of this nice fresh air that we have here right in Winnipeg. You know, the United States of America is a little bit foggy on most of the places. That's why Mr. Jim Brunzell asked me to come to Winnipeg right here, and of course for the big belt. I do believe we're just taking a big breath of fresh air.
I'll tell you what, places like White Bear Lake, Minnesota, the air is pretty good. Maybe L.A., but look at this.
Here it comes. Natural saying that it's over.
He does this maneuver very well. When he gets up there, usually likes to land that knee drop across the throat or the chest area. Taking his time getting up there. Brunzell trying to make his way to his feet. Brunzell lands the shot to the breadbasket. That's what Jumpin' Jimmy Brunzell needed. The fans have jumped to his support here. Another right hand and a haymaker there.
I can't believe it.
He's on fire. You better believe it. The natural can't believe it. 2 now. 3, 4, 5. You count along, folks at home. This one for the WFWA title, and the champion, he doesn't know whether he's coming or going. A big atomic drop coming, maybe, yes, sirree. And the natural, he won't be riding horses for very long. And Jumpin' Jimmy Brunzell has come to life, Jimmy Mack.
These two incredible athletes, these two guys going at it. I mean, the natural, being a young guy, has got the stamina, but I can't believe Brunzell has gotten up from everything.
He's got him. Jumpin' Jimmy Brunzell has got the natural in the sleeper. This could be it.
We're going to go for the rope.
We're going to have a new champion. Jumpin' Jimmy Brunzell has got the natural in the sleeper. Wow. Oh, that one could break a man's jaw. It could have even opened up a wound on the head of the natural. Very bad maneuver for both men. They're both feeling the pain now.
I tell you, that was a great move by the natural.
I almost lost it here at ringside. What a great match it's been. I thought we were about that close from having a new WFWA champion. You can hear the fans calling the natural a loser.
Here we go, small package.
1, 2, only a 2 count. Surprises Brunzell, and the fans are supporting Jumpin' Jimmy Brunzell. I can barely think here.
I can't even catch my breath. Tony's on the edge of his seat here.
Why, that's it. It's all over. 1, 2, 3. Got him. We've got a new champion, Tony. Jumpin' Jimmy Brunzell, new champion.
Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, and fans across the country, Mr. Brunzell came to do a big job, and he did it. Congratulations, Mr. Jim Brunzell, for being the new heavyweight champion, Canadian heavyweight champion.
Go get him that belt, Tony. He is our new champion. Jumpin' Jimmy Brunzell, the natural is livid. You can see Tony handing the belt to Joe Curino. He is the new WFWA heavyweight champion, Jimmy Mack. What do you think about that?
I can't believe the injustice here. For the whole match, I've been saying that when the natural spin in Brunzell, 1, 2, 3 slow, as soon as Brunzell pins the natural, bingo, it's over.
There he is, the WFWA